On October 7, 2019, in Frankfurt, Germany, at exactly 11:40 a.m., Thomas Kraus, an investigator in the cybercrime unit of the German Federal Police, was monitoring suspicious money movements online, looking for any illegal activity on the dark web. That day, a new alert popped up from the automated monitoring system. The program had detected a series of Bitcoin transfers larger than usual, coming from the same source repeatedly over several days. But on that particular day, the transfers were unusual, huge amounts, all linked to a single digital address, and that address wasn't familiar. Thomas found it in the police database and decided to dig deeper. He opened the Tor browser. If you don't know, Tor lets you access the dark web. But seriously, don't ever use it or go on the dark web because it's super dangerous and could ruin your life. Thomas used Tor to track the address, and suddenly, the biggest online market on the dark web popped up in front of him. The darknet market. This place had everything illegal. Drugs, weapons, fake documents, passports, stolen credit cards, you name it, all listed with prices like it was just another online store. No fear at all. The real shock wasn't just that. The shocking thing was the numbers. Each product had hundreds, sometimes thousands, of reviews. Every review was proof of a completed sale, and someone who bought and came back to leave their opinion. These guys weren't just running a market. They were going all out. It was their message to every security agency in the world. If anyone thinks they can hack the site, let's see what you've got. And that's how the biggest cyber war the German police ever fought began. The story of the Marketblades Darknet. For those of you seeing me for the first time, I'm Abu Al-Sadiq, and I talk about all the strange and mysterious stuff on Earth. And as usual, before we start, let's remember, we're still boycotting and staying strong. Don't let this video, even if you like it, make you forget that victory only comes after a little patience. Today, we're going to talk about one of the craziest and most dangerous digital cases in Germany's history, a marketplace that managed to outsmart every security agency and sell everything you're not supposed to. Who started this site? How did they manage to fool the police for years? How much did they make? Was it just one person behind it, or a whole crime network? And how did it all end with raids and arrests that shook Europe's security to its core? If you stumbled on this video by chance, we're a family of 4.3 million strong. We all love knowing every little detail about strange topics and learning from them. So, subscribe to our channel. You definitely won't regret it. Like we always say, even if stories seem similar, it's not the same as when I tell them to you. Before we start the story, there's something more important I want to talk about. I hope you pay close attention. If I didn't know that the people following this channel are good-hearted and principled, I wouldn't bring this up. Lately, you've probably seen the news and how bad things have gotten for our brothers in Gaza. Sadly, people are starving, and the situation is really tough. None of us are stingy. Just imagine if they had to go without food for a single day. It's been a day or two without food, but sadly today we're seeing people of all ages dying of hunger. Neither our religion, conscience, nor humanity can accept that we just keep watching. Everyone's saying, what can we do? But honestly, there's not much we can do since the crossings are closed. But believe me, nothing lasts forever, and a time will come when the crossings open. The most important thing that needs to be available there is meat. That's why, with Eid al-Adha coming up, the Ma'an Development Company came up with a great solution. Now you can entrust them with your sacrifice. They'll take care of everything. The sacrifices will be slaughtered in India and Pakistan, and the animals will be calves slaughtered according to Islamic rules. After that, they'll be transported to a factory. The process involves cutting and freezing the meat, then cooking it with spices at high temperatures, followed by canning the meat. After that, it will be sent to Jordan, ready to be delivered to Gaza. Each calf is divided into 7 portions, each portion containing 15 kilos of pure meat. These 15 kilos are packed into 18 cans, and the 18 cans are placed in one box. All these steps are to ensure the meat stays good for 2 years, so it doesn't spoil if there are delays at the crossings. For those who want to participate, the price for a 15-kilo portion of pure meat is $300. If you can't cover the cost of a full portion, there's an option to share. I'll leave a link to the Mon Development website in the first comment, and the description box so you can perform your sacrifice with them. Of course, the website also offers other options to help our brothers besides sacrifices, and I'm sure you're good people and won't hold back. Back in 2017, there was a German guy named Sasha. I did a lot of research to find his full name, but German laws are a bit weird. They don't allow the media to publish the full names of suspects, even for Luden to protect their family's privacy. That's why sources just refer to him as Sasha. Anyway, in 2017, Sasha was 24 years old, living with his family in a small apartment in the city of Ulm. His family was middle class, with no issues or criminal records, and he was a student. I'm a university student studying computer science, but ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with programming and the hacker world. As a child, I was introverted and didn't have many friends, just a few close ones. Even back in school, I always felt a bit out of place. I wasn't into going out or partying. Everyone else was into computers and the internet, and that's where I felt strong, smart, and like I could do things no one else could. I used to spend hours on hacker forums, reading about hacks, data theft, and run-ins with the police. Sasha was amazed by this world. He felt like he finally found a place where he belonged. In his eyes, this was a place where no one judged you or cared about how you looked. Your social situation right now. What I'm about to tell you is really important. Whether you're a guy my age or younger, a dad, a mom, or a kid, you all need to hear this. What I'm about to say was a turning point in Sasha's life. And honestly, any parent listening to me now, I want this to be a turning point in one of your kids' lives too. None of us are immune to this. We all see the world we live in today. Everything is out in the open. The problem is, what we're seeing out there is far from perfect. Man, you'd want to keep watching to understand. Back in the day, it was normal to be a little jealous. As a kid, if you wanted to be jealous, you'd be jealous of the kids in your neighborhood, like the one who got a new toy. Jealousy was limited to your street, your neighborhood. Most people were pretty much on the same level. No one was way out of reach. But today, the internet has flipped everything upside down. Any kid or young person can see people from all over the world living what looks like a perfect life. Cars, houses, travel, laughter, everything just flawless. Every day, social media shows us new people, making it seem like their lives are perfect and they never make mistakes. And as soon as someone gets a few followers, they start making you feel like they're living in a dream. But in reality, it's just pictures. The ideal is the pictures, but real life is pretty ordinary, maybe even worse than you imagine. The problem is that the human mind believes these things, starts comparing, and feels like it's less lucky, weaker. For someone shy or introverted like Sasha, the situation is even tougher. Sasha wasn't social, didn't like going out to talk a lot or show off his life on social media. He didn't have the talent to take pictures and brag about his life. But in the end, he's human and wanted to be like the people he saw online. Since he was shy and wanted to make money online, it was really hard. It's tough jumping into social media like everyone else, especially when you're shy and don't really know how to go viral. Sasha felt out of place in a world where everyone was so self-absorbed, acting like they were perfect. That pressure and feeling made him look for a different world. One without pictures, bragging, or people competing over who's got more or who's the hottest. A world where people connect using nicknames. No one knows what the other looks like or cares about what you own. What matters is how smart you are, how strong you are, and that strength is measured by how well you can hack systems and break rules. And that's where Sasha found himself, in the dark web, a world where intelligence rules. It's not about money, it's about your smarts. Nothing comes without using your brain. Fame won't help you, and your strength comes from always being bigger, meaning the more you can stay under the radar, the better. What I want to tell you is that each of us has a phone today, and we all need to watch over our families. We have to be careful not to get pulled into this kind of world. Don't think something like this is far from your son or your brother. If they feel the pressure of comparison, thinking others are better than them, you wouldn't believe what they could learn or do. They might surprise you with things you never thought they could learn or achieve. Sasha became obsessed with the idea of challenge coming up. He wanted to be the mastermind, the one everyone talks about. But back then, on the dark web, without a face or anyone knowing his real name, he'd hear stories about the dark web like Silk Road. Normal people who became legends, outsmarted the police, and made millions. Sasha dreamed of being one of them, not just some regular hacker, but the guy everyone talks about, the one the police are after, with no trace left behind. That's when the idea hit him. Why not create a marketplace, a market bigger than all the ones before? Why not be the one to change the game? After everything he'd been through, he decided to turn his ideas from just thoughts into reality, working long nights. He programmed and planned every detail carefully. Nothing was left to chance. The site had to be perfect, fully encrypted, everything kept secret, and all transactions done with Bitcoin. You probably know why Bitcoin was used. It's a digital currency that's really hard to trace, especially on the dark web. On the first day the site launched, there was no buzz. No one knew about it. Sasha himself got on and posted the market link on hacker forums and secret Telegram channels. He wrote a simple post: a new, very secure market with lower fees than anyone else. Try it yourself. The first seller signed up, made an account, and posted an ad for a small amount of hash with a picture and price. He put up the product with a simple description. The first buyer came in, paid with Bitcoin, received the goods, and the package actually arrived. Then he came back to the site and left a review. His review said everything was perfect, the package arrived, thanks. That sentence was the spark. Every day the number of sellers and buyers kept growing. Each of them left a review, and every review was like a free ad saying the marketplace was safe and the service was reliable. Everything was running like clockwork. Sasha kept an eye on the numbers. Orders were increasing daily, money was coming in more and more, and the reputation was spreading like wildfire. He set up a rating system with stars for each seller and reviews for every product, just like any shopping site. The difference was that on this site, all the products were banned elsewhere. Sellers started competing to see who had the best stuff, who could deliver faster, and who had higher ratings. Buyers began trusting the marketplace more because everything was clear, and there was a security system called escrow. That meant the money anyone paid for something stayed with the site and didn't go to the seller until the buyer confirmed they'd received their order. That's when the site released the payment to the seller. Sasha realized then that he couldn't manage the market alone, especially since the number of sellers was growing way too fast. There were tens of thousands of buyers. As the work grew bigger, it got more complicated. It became necessary to have a professional team, with each person playing a specific role to keep the business running smoothly. He started looking for people from secret hacker communities and dark web forums. He posted a mysterious ad saying, "Programmers and security experts wanted for a big project. Pay in Bitcoin, identity kept anonymous." The surprise was that the response was huge. Lots of hackers were looking for work and wanted to stay under the radar. Within a week, Sasha gathered 4 people and let me introduce you to the new team, Shefra, a genius programmer from Berlin, responsible for... A cybersecurity expert from Hamburg was in charge of developing the site and fixing its vulnerabilities. making sure the marketplace stayed protected from hacks and tracking any threats. The cashier handled customer support, answering complaints from buyers and sellers in code. The courier coordinated between sellers and smugglers to sort out any delivery issues. None of them knew each other's real identities. Not even Sasha knew their names. Their communication with the sellers was all done through an encrypted messaging app called Tox, which was fully secure and impossible to trace. They held meetings once a month in encrypted chat rooms on this site, with everyone logging in at different times so as not to raise any suspicion. Even the language they used was full of code words. For example, they'd talk about goods by saying books. The police they'd call neighbors, and shipments were those packages. Sasha made sure the team never bragged about their work or told anyone about it. Not even their closest friends or family had to know. That's why each of them had a fake story about their job. Shifra claimed she worked at an IT company. Zil kept telling his family he was studying for a PhD. Kasher said he was a delivery driver, and Ezar said he was a courier. Write to me in the comments, and before the video ends, I'll tell you what they were really lying about. Go back and check if your prediction was right or not. The main thing is, Sasha didn't fully trust them, never 100%. He was always testing the team's loyalty by sending them tasks. For example, he'd send Zil a website and tell him to hack it. The site was actually set up by the police, pretending to be hackers. They wanted the hackers to break in and then report the vulnerabilities so they could identify them and offer them a deal to work with the police. Sasha would watch to see if Zil managed to hack the site and, after that, how he'd act. Would he report the vulnerability to the police and try to get in touch with an official agency, or would he just follow orders and keep quiet? If Sasha noticed that this member reached out, just contacting the police for any reason or trying to act smart about anything, he immediately knew that person wasn't loyal and might even be an informant, and he'd kick them out of the team on the spot. But if they followed the instructions and didn't say a word, he knew they were trustworthy. That's how he always tested them without them even realizing it. He made sure his team had no traitors, so he was protected from any internal leaks. The team passed every test, and the business was growing so fast that Sasha started paying them salaries higher than any company you can think of. The genius coder, Shefra, was earning the highest salary, 20,000 euros every month, paid in Bitcoin. Imagine that. Her salary was higher than that of a big bank manager. The cybersecurity expert's base salary was about 5,000 euros a month, but every time he detected a hacking attempt, Sasha would give him a big bonus. The tech support cashier earned 2,000 euros. His job was to check if any customer had a problem, and he got bonuses for every issue he solved. The courier's job was just to coordinate shipments. His base salary was 1,500 euros, but he earned a commission on every successful and delivered deal. There were dozens, maybe hundreds of deals every day. Sasha could have paid them much higher salaries, but he wasn't sure if any of them might get reckless and spend it all. The amounts were way over the top and grabbed everyone's attention. Every day there were new deals, profits kept rising, and their goods were reaching all over Germany. Day by day, they started expanding into European countries. And we're not talking about regular stuff here. We're talking drugs, weapons, fake IDs, jobs, music. The market became the hot spot for every criminal looking for quick cash or forbidden goods. Their goal was to open an account with them, but this success had a price. The market got so big that it became really hard to keep everything under wraps. Small mistakes happened. Some sellers got reckless and started offering their products globally without taking any precautions. Some buyers started sending big shipments, ordering huge quantities, and using real mailing addresses. This caught the police's attention. Sasha tried to cover his tracks and warn the team, but with so many orders and all the pressure, it was impossible to keep everything under control. That's when the first mistake happened. And guess who made it? A delivery guy. Just so you know, the delivery guy wasn't the sharpest. He told his family he worked for an international shipping company and was in charge of coordinating packages and shipments. Basically didn't change his real job title at all. Anyway, one normal day he got a message from a new seller who was in a hurry and wanted to ship a large amount. A big stash of weed was sent to one of the customers, and the customer gave a clear and real shipping address. No P.O. box or fake pickup point. Unfortunately, the delivery guy didn't pay attention and approved the shipment, sending the package via express mail without changing any details. The package reached the customer, but the police were already watching that address because it had been under surveillance before due to a drug case. When the package arrived, they searched it and found the weed inside. The worst part was that it was wrapped in paper with a tracking code and a link to a darknet market site called Market Buds, along with instructions on how to leave a review rating. And on top of all that, his kidneys had a discount code for the next order. That paper was the first physical proof linking the drug deal directly to a real address. If you remember at the start of the video, I told you about Officer Thomas, who was assigned to monitor suspicious money movements and analyze digital data. Thomas and his team had noticed a huge flow of Bitcoin transfers for a while and knew they were repeatedly going to shady addresses. But everything they had was digital. No physical evidence, no names, no addresses to connect them to any real person. They always tried to track them online, but every time they hit a wall because of the encryption. Sasha was totally confident that no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't catch him. It was like he was daring them, saying, "I'm right here, selling everything right under your noses. Try and catch me." The police were watching everything unfold right in front of them, but just couldn't get a lead. Then the package slipped right into their hands. Suddenly, they had a real shipping address, a tracking number, and a direct link to the market. From the tracking label on the package, they realized the delivery guy was responsible for the shipments because the label said if you run into any problems or issues with delivery, contact the courier's account on the Tox app. Of course, the Tox app is fully encrypted, so there's no way to track anything on it. So they went to the same site, Market Buyer's Darknet, and saw that most sellers were communicating with an account called Courier X. They found out that the person behind this account was one of the people working in the market and was connected to deliveries. They started ordering shipments from the market and kept an eye on the delivery locations. The same delivery guy showed up multiple times. Sometimes he even delivered the shipments himself. They checked him out and put him under surveillance. They figured he was working on the site without actually knowing the site owners. And turns out, he really didn't know them and had never met them in person. So they said, "This guy's just responsible for the shipments. If any problems come up, he's the one who handles them. We're worried if we'll grab the site owner's attention because if we catch him and he really doesn't know any of them, we'll have lost a treasure and the biggest opportunity we've ever had." The police, the German police, had no choice but to keep monitoring. Over time, they gathered a lot of info about Bitcoin transfers. They got fake names, phone numbers, and emails. They started checking who kept showing up in the same areas or had unusual lifestyle patterns, or people who suddenly had more money than normal. The police built a huge file, but the problem was, it was all fake names. They didn't know anyone real on the site except the courier. In spring 2019, the German police decided to take a bold step. They reached out to the Dutch police and asked for their support. The Dutch had a lot of experience after taking down the Hansa market. They told them, "Guys, help us out. Tell us exactly how you took down Hansa, what you did, how you managed to get to the real people behind it." The Germans said, "Honestly, we're stuck. We've got tons of data and have been watching the people receiving orders, but we're scared that if we arrest them, the market owners will find out and protect themselves even more. We want to reach the people running the whole market." The Dutch told them, "Everything you're doing now won't get you anywhere. You need to. They found the app that the team members used to communicate with each other. As you know, the Germans told them they knew they were using the Tox app, but it's encrypted and impossible to hack. The problem is, it's not just the team members using it, the customers also communicate with the site owners on this app. But the Dutch had a solution. They told them to hack a courier's device through Tox itself. It's not like the app isn't encrypted, but they said, go create a seller account on their site, on the darknet marketplace. Pretend you're selling drugs, place a few orders, and then report that you have. There's a problem with the order. Send him a message on the Tox app with this. Please send them this file and tell him to open the attached file for return details. That attached file was actually a virus made by the Dutch. This virus completely hacks the phone, revealing its IP address and location. As soon as the courier opened the file, the phone got taken over by the police without him knowing. They could see everything on it through this virus. The police took full control of the device and saw the courier's chats on the Tox app, conversations with the team, with Shifra, the manager, and the cashier, including their schedules. They intercepted the codes they used between them, but couldn't read the old chats because Tox is encrypted and deletes all conversations. However, they managed to record the new chats and analyze their communication patterns. Al-Fahim's messenger was using the same phone with the Tox app for his personal life. Family photos, his email, and even passwords were all on his device. The police found the password for his email saved on his phone, logged into his email, and found an email he sent that was a game changer. That email had instructions on how to access the backup site servers, and that's where everything got exposed. They hacked into the servers and stole all the data. They saw every conversation, every deal, every message. Everything was in their hands. They even got the team's device passwords. To make sure they always had access, they sent a fake update for the Tox app. They notified them there was an update for the app. But this update also had spyware for the police. The police could see everything without being detected by the team. The team thought it was just a normal security update, but in reality, it was their downfall. The Dutch virus was designed so it didn't drain the battery or slow down the device, so no one noticed. And the police had full control. They took advantage of the time Sai was in areas with weak internet coverage. He thought slow downloads were just normal. After the German police managed to access conversations, devices, and codes, both Sai and the cashier faced a new problem. All the digital evidence and chats connected them to team members, but there was no direct contact or clear info about Sasha. Sasha was the smartest one. He was always careful, never using the same devices or accounts. Even when he communicated with the team, he used extra layers of protection, sometimes using new fake names, sending encrypted instructions through middlemen, and never leaving any direct digital trace. They linked it to the market. But as the investigations ramped up and the German police started working with the Dutch and Bulgarians, they ended up with a treasure trove of digital evidence. The biggest focus was on Bitcoin transfers and shipping addresses. The police zeroed in on all the large financial transactions. Through careful data analysis, they managed to identify a device that showed up every time there was a critical moment, like during site updates or when important news was posted on the site. This device was connecting to the internet in the city of Ulm. After long monitoring and analyzing internet traffic in the same neighborhood, they pinpointed a small apartment where, whenever there was heavy activity on the market, the internet usage would spike. The apartment. After watching the cameras, comparing the times people came and went, and analyzing the router data, they were sure the mastermind behind everything was a guy named Sasha. They waited for him to slip up, which they wanted him to do. Connect his laptop and personal phone to the same Wi-Fi network. Once he did that, they were 100% certain. The police prepared a warrant and waited for the right moment. On the morning of October 7, 2019, the police knocked on his apartment door. Sasha was sitting at his computer updating the market software, completely unaware that it was all over. He was arrested immediately, and the police confiscated everything. His electronic devices were full of evidence against him and his management of the market, along with chats, financial transfers, and plans. After Sasha and the rest of the team were arrested, one of the biggest digital trials in Germany began. The court charged them with running a criminal organization, drug trafficking, and money laundering over the internet. Sasha was the main suspect and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. They charged him with being the CEO and running the biggest darknet drug market in all of Germany. The other team members got sentences ranging from 3 to 6 years, depending on their roles in the network. Some had their sentences reduced because they cooperated. The court's investigation emphasized that the danger of the crime wasn't just that they sold drugs. The real risk was that they developed a full digital system that's really hard for the police to track. This kind of crime has become a new security challenge across Europe. That's how the legend of the darknet market blades ended. In the same month the German police arrested Sasha, they put an official message on the site announcing its seizure and shutdown, warning users that their data was now in the hands of the police. What stood out to me most about this story was the arrest date, October 7th, a very important date in every Arab's life, God willing. That date was the final nail in the coffin for the occupation. Pray for our people in Palestine always, and may God have mercy on all the martyrs. I'm sharing this story not just for fun. I feel like it carries an important message. Walking down the wrong path in life never ends well. Everyone thinks they're the biggest deal, but there's always someone bigger. Everyone thinks they're a genius, but there's always someone smarter. Life keeps spinning like that. In the end, arrogance only hurts the person who's arrogant. Those who try to take the quick, easy way, especially through wrong means, end up full of regret. No one's life is perfect. Don't believe everything you see on social media, every picture, every success story, every person showing off. He's talking about a shortcut to getting rich, but it's all nonsense. Real life is about hard work, patience, morals, and everything else. Anything less just leads to a known ending. Always stick to what's right and good. Honestly, those who live with self-respect and fear God are the real winners. That was our story for today. I hope you liked it. For the loyal ones who've stayed with me this far, here's a little info. From all the news I read, Sasha won't admit it, but he's got between 3.5 and 5 million euros. He spent 8 years in prison, and they're going to get out with him. If you like this kind of story, check out this video. This video is about the arrest of the most dangerous criminal in Asia. If I had to say something quick about him, it's that he's like El Chapo and Pablo Escobar's apprentice. They're like small kids compared to him. You're gonna love this story. I'm Abu Al-Sadiq. See you in the video.